Welcome to the Love Clarity Podcast, where you come to heal your relationship trauma and learn to love deeply without losing yourself. Hello, love, and welcome back to the Love Clarity Podcast, where we help you reclaim your energy, your clarity, and your peace without performing, proving, or pushing harder. I'm Sanya Bari, relationship trauma therapist, coach, and someone who lived in burnout for years, not because I was lazy or disorganized, but because I was in energetic debt. Today, we're talking about a kind of exhaustion that rest can't fix, the kind that lives in your soul, deep inside, not on your schedule. Energetic debt isn't about being tired. It's about an energy leak. Every time you say yes to something that you actually want to say no to, you violate yourself a little bit, and that drains you of your energy. You overthink a conversation. You maybe insist on proving your point when your soul wants something else entirely. You're going against your soul, and you go into an energetic deficit. You keep making withdrawals from your energetic bank. Now, I didn't understand this until I came across Carolyn Miss's work on energetic banking, and it just clicked for me. I realized that I'd been managing my time, but not my energy, and your energy is your power force. And if it's bankrupt, even the most beautiful opportunities and moments feel like pressure and like unrest. Now, let's say that you're a person who's invested your energy in tiny, tiny moments in a way that you're maybe close to like a zero or a negative. Well, the reality is that in our human experience, our life will demand energy from us without announcement, without permission. It's just going to be like, okay, well, this just happened, and you're just going to have to, bring the energy from somewhere. It doesn't care that you've been, making some irresponsible energetic investments. And when something happens, you'll have to borrow energy because what's in front of you demands it. It just simply demands it. You're going to have to then go into what Carolyn Miss calls an energetic debt. And she explains that this debt that you take, the energetic debt, it comes from two places. You borrow energy from two places, which get depleted. Number one place that you borrow from is your body cells, where at the least you feel an energy depletion, a tiredness, a fatigue. And if you continue to consistently be irresponsible in your energetic investments, diseases that lay dormant in your body start waking up. Inflammations start waking up, start getting activated and taking root. You feel fatigued and mysterious symptoms start showing up that, you can go to the doctor and you can have a medical test to prove, but somehow you can't explain them. Many times when I say that, what you're going through really looks like maybe it's like a psychosomatic thing, people often say to me, really, really smart people will often say to me, no, it's not psychosomatic. I have test results to prove it. This is actually happening to me. And I'm not saying, when I say it's psychosomatic, I'm not saying it's hypochondria, which is where you're imagining disease. That's not what I'm saying. You are meant to, you are going to, you will have tests to prove the disease exists in your body. But what I'm trying to say with this point over here is what we are then not seeing at that moment are a series of irresponsible investments, micro moments when you made a negative return on investments. You invested in things that gave you a negative return on investment. Like if I'm a friend and I say, hey, I've got this investment and would you like to invest in? You're like, okay, well, tell me more. Like, the thing is that if you invest here, you're going to get a negative return on your investment. You'd be like, wait, like, what are you even saying? Like, that doesn't even make sense. We're friends. Why would you even offer me something that would be Not just even, but a negative return. Like that's nonsensical. And it is nonsensical in the financial world, the physical world. And it is, by the way, I want to say nonsensical in the energetic world. And the way that sounds is that, let's say that Judy and Alice come to me and they say, hey, Sanya, you know what Samantha said about you last night when you weren't there? And, there's a part of me, and this is why my girlfriends know at that moment to come and say this to me, because in the past, maybe I've been somebody who's entertained this. And there's a part of me that's like, yeah, wants to pull up a chair, pour some tea and be like, yeah, give me the play by play. However, there's a greater part of me that has understood what a wise investment in energy looks like. And what happens to you. I haven't even told you the second part. And then, yes, there's a third one too. So I'm going to say, no, I don't want to know what she said. Not anymore. I'm not investing in that. Carolyn Miss had a really good example. And she said that there was a policewoman and she said that, hey, this woman on the street, she told me that I'm going to get shot. And she was coming and she was telling Carolyn Miss that. And she goes, well, are you going to invest in that? Are you going to invest in that thought? And that's the way you use it. Am I going to? It's a one choice at a time. Choosing one investment, one wise investment at a time, and moving away from one negative return type investment at a time, where you regain credibility and energetics with yourself rather than being in debt. Now, the second place, that if you were somebody who was an irresponsible energetic investor, the second place where you are going to have to borrow from, that is going to be in debt, that is going to get depleted, is your relationships, the ones that matter the most to you. The first relationship that's going to get affected is the one that you have with yourself. You're no longer going to be able to trust yourself to make yourself feel safe, to make decisions that are sound for you, which means that at that moment, you get out of your own camaraderie, your own ability to do what's right for you, and you become somebody who's at the mercy of other people's opinions, choices, demands, commands. And you're going to be told whether you're okay, right, enough or not, depending on what they do. So it's such a giving up of the rights. And then and that's your relationship with yourself, but your relationship with other people starts to get strained. You start to deplete them. They don't want to be around you. Maybe you snap, maybe you shut down, maybe you feel resentful, even when no one's done anything wrong. Maybe you're somebody who starts to overfunction, over-accommodate, and then withdraw. This whole drama, this whole circus, this isn't failure. It's the cost of unaligned living, uninquired living, of taking action without consent with yourself. And there's one other thing that really, really bothers me personally concerning investments of energy that give you negative returns. Irresponsible energy investment. In my experience, once or twice a year, whatever you have been wishing for, yearning for, praying for, manifesting, that opportunity opens up. That window opens up for you. A perfectly aligned opportunity for love, for healing, for business, for purpose, for whatever it is that you're wishing for. But if you are somebody who lives in an energy deficit, who's just on energetic debt, who is constantly drained of energy, you're going to miss it. You're going to hesitate. You're going to overthink. You're going to tell yourself you're not ready. You're going to have that moment where you're going to be like, oh my God, it was like right there. And you're going to be like, I don't understand why I didn't do it. But you're not going to be able to do it. And before you know it, the moment's going to be gone. All of us have experienced version of this. This is not laziness. This is what I call energetic bankruptcy. Regret becomes the emotional bill that you're left holding. The fix isn't working harder. It's healing smarter. Here's what I started. And I said this in our last podcast episode, that I sat down and I decided on 5 core qualities that I value. I wanted to do that. It wasn't like that I lived all of this life without really being concerned about, what I was doing, but I wanted to do a revision on this, because so many of what we believe in and we just subconsciously are programmed to follow and keep creating comes from other people. So it was like, okay, these 5 are going to be qualities that when I live through them, I live into them, that I'm going to feel complete and whole, and I'm going to feel proud of myself, that I could look inside the mirror at the end of the day and say, wow, like that was good. That is something that I approve of. Yes, that had my stamp of approval, not other people's. I was trying to understand who I am apart from everyone else. Where do I begin and another person ends? And I then gamified it. And I invite you to that game, which I call the quality control inspector game, where I would just imagine that all of my thoughts, feelings, my emotions, my decisions, my commitments were just things that were coming in a conveyor belt. And I had a very, very simple job. This wasn't complicated. I was just a quality control inspector with a simple clipboard with just 5 words written on it. And those were the words that were the qualities that I value. I could have a little bit of drama about something, but my job was very simple. It was that I would see something, and if it didn't align with the short list that I'd created on this very simple sheet, it would be like, no, thank you. And then if it did, I'd be like, yes. So one thought, one feeling, one emotion, one choice at a time. I taught myself how to stop giving attention to what drained me. And I was able to swipe thoughts like notifications off of the screen of my consciousness. I didn't any longer feel the need to click on every emotional alert that came my way. It was such freedom. And I loved gamifying it because it allowed me to be on the other side of it and not make it so heavy that I'm overthinking it, that it was just coming more naturally. It had flow, and it had just a simplicity of task. And it was an understanding that I'm going to build this muscle, this new neural pathway, just by repetition. I could sometimes get pretty emotional about, whoa, I can't believe I thought that. I can't believe I felt. And then, since it was a game, I had to just get over it. And the other one was coming. So I just have to let it go. Energetic wealth. Energetic wealth is built by saying yes, only after you have taken consent from your wise, deep inner self. Now, ask yourself, what's been leaking my energy lately? Where have I been betraying my own values to keep the peace or stay productive? Where have I shrank so others around me don't have to feel insecure? The most important relationship in your life is the one between you and yourself. And being an excellent investor in your life force energy is a very primary task that is nobody's business but yours. If you're ready to protect it, to be a discerning investor, to stop missing the moments that were meant for you, come sit with us inside the Love Clarity Inner Circle. We don't push, we don't hustle, we create clarity and peace moment by moment. Or meet me right back here next Wednesday. And until then, I'm Sanya Bari with deep loving from my heart to yours.